This is one of the most spectacular views, and the camera just simply does not do it justice. So this is the 372, right?
Yes.
That's got some time on it now.
Yeah, quite a bit.
Look at that bar. Tell me about that bar, because that survived, didn't it?
This was like early December, is that right?
Yeah.
And so I've been using it as my felling saw and sectioning saw.
No kidding.
And the bar is still surviving, the tip is still good.
And that's the VersaCut.
Yes.
But look how shiny that thing is. Anyone question about how much time that bar has? That's a polished bar.
I did take it off, and one time and took the chain and took my grinder and just where the edge of the bar started to mushroom a little.
Yeah.
Just cleaned that up.
Yeah. I had no intentions whatsoever of doing a video, but you know something? Sometimes you got to take opportunities when they present themselves. That is a new 572. And Matt is the proud owner of that saw. So I think the pressure is off that saw though, because it'll be interesting over a period of time which one it gets picked up first.
That's the one I plan on.
I was bickering about what to do with this saw here. This is that one we just did. It's got a bunch of Chicom stuff in there, and I want to kill it. I'm not quite ready to let him have it just yet to kill it, but I'm going to put a couple of weeks on it. But I wanted to have it do a cookie or two and have him run it so he has an impression about how that works relative to the XPW and the 390s, because he will know. Over there somewhere is my old plow route. Up that hill.
Fairly small log, but hard maple and froze.
Yeah.
Very strong running saw, as you can tell.
Now this is not going to make a lot of sense to a 372 guy, but I'm going to just run real quick. From the guys that have the old auto tunes, one of the things you're going to see is a lot of space underneath the muffler, so it doesn't radiate heat down to the cases.
Okay.
One of the issues they had with the 562s was heat related. I used to cut the baffle in the muffler to let the heat come out the top. Another thing on these, I'm not going to pull the cover, but the port for the plug for the computer is right on top of the carburetor. It has a dam, a heat shield that the 562 didn't have. And where we used to cut the covers, they already come that way. Look at that. They've got a lot of space right here and up here to get the heat out of the saw. And a little further ahead on the auto tune, but I mean, they've done a heck of a job. And one thing you'll find interesting, the bearings, you can't see them, but the bearings for the crank on that is exactly the same size, diameter-wise, as what you have in the 390s.
So they build them good and heavy.
Yeah, they sacrifice weight a little bit for durability, but we were just talking about that little 372, and Matt was saying something I think is pretty relevant.
For me, at this stage in the game, running that 372, a lighter saw, maybe a little bit less power than what we got in the 390 or the 385, but they're so much heavier that's working out for me. Running that 372, being able to run it all day, but taking a second or two longer to cut through the log. It's a good trade for me.
See, now I don't feel so old, because I went to the 562 for exactly that reason, where basically I got to the point where how fast it cuts a cookie, I couldn't care less. That's a nice looking truck right there. So these are what's still being used. Last time we were in here, we were out in the middle of the dark running, and he was running the big puzzles. I want to point out that number 3, you still running number 3 for sectioning, right?
Well, number 3 is still running okay, but lately I've been using the 372 for pretty much everything.
Okay, that's like key. But this one here, if this is for the guys who pay attention to the channel, this is the one that we built that was supposed to be a little bit better. I honestly don't think this one has been back for anything. So I would consider that now, a year and a half later, a successful build. The other ones we've got fairly stable. This is kind of like what happened to the Husqvarna saws, but I kept the Husqvarna rubber parts, and he just told me that one of them is running lean again. So that means that the fuel line on that one there is probably done, just like it was on I think it was this one I had to do the fuel line on. So we're getting to the point where we know down to a component level what's not. But I think it's significant that those things have lasted that long. But I also think it's significant that you said forget about them big saws, not just those, but all of them.
Yeah, it's just, for me, the lightness of that saw
trumps everything.
Yes, it's a little slower, a little less power, obviously, than the big 390 or even the 385. But it enables me to work all day.
Yeah, and he makes fun of me sometimes, but I'm going to make fun of him. Part of it has to do with age. And you've been doing this for a long time. God, it's beautiful up here, Matt.
Yeah.
He's got to buck up those logs tonight. What a view.